this makes me want to stay in Topeka more.
Really? What about it?
Because it I guess it showed me the opportunity that is waiting in Topeka for people that want to start a business. You know? So like I see all these great restaurants and bars, and I'm like, we could do that in Topeka. Topeka needs that. Topeka needs that.
All right, welcome to the Look Around podcast. We have another episode. We're here in Circle Coffee with Aaron Zentner, owner, founder, operator, possibly among a team. We will find out, of Soliloquy, an up-and-coming cocktail lounge. Yeah, sure. Here in Topeka. So, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's good to have you, man. Yeah. It's awesome. All right, so Aaron, we're just gonna jump right in. You started Soliloquy. Yeah. Tell us, how did you get into that? How did you get into starting?
Yeah, I mean, so it's kind of a weird chain of events, but I really started getting into cocktails probably, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. I was going through college and I really wasn't sure like what I wanted to do. Most people in that position kind of fall into the service industry, so they're like, you know, doing restaurant jobs or, you know, working in a fast food place. I had a job that I really wasn't enjoying. I was doing like electronic stuff. This was like when I was 22 or 23. And I was like, I always had this passion to cook. And I was like, well, you know, maybe if I finish college, I'll go and do culinary school or something. And like I moved into this house with my buddies, and I was really enjoying like just cooking on my own and kind of learning, watching YouTube and stuff. And
as we do.
Yeah,
of course.
as we do.
Watch YouTube.
How else does anyone learn anything?
Just
honestly.
like in general, just watching YouTube in general.
YouTube is amazing, man. So my buddy, he didn't live in the house with us. It was 5 of us dudes, but he would always come home in like this white shirt and this like bow tie, and like he'd be like, "Man, guys, I made so much money tonight waiting tables like, at this place downtown." And I was like, "Oh, cool! And, like, sweet, good for you, man." And so I didn't really think much about it.
Thanks for making us feel bad. Yeah. Appreciate that.
I'm still like doing my electronics job and like not making a ton of money. And so I asked him about it. I was like, "So like, what are you doing exactly?" And he's like, "Well, I'm working at this place downtown. It's called the White Linen."
He's like, "Well, I sell cocaine."
I'm waiting tables, and I was like, "Cool, yeah, like fine dining." I didn't really, you know, I kind of want to work in the kitchen. Like that would be awesome, you know, because like he was telling me it's like a really small space and it's like locally owned, and you know, it's, he said the food there was awesome, and so I put in an application. I got hired the first day. Chef hired me the first day.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, there was not much of a vetting process going on. He's just like, "You're hired." And I was like, "Okay, cool."
We'll take anybody.
By happenstance, I kind of got put in the front of house instead of the kitchen. I guess I didn't know what I was applying for, but and I was like painfully shy at the time, and so they throw me out in the dining room, and like I'm talking to like 8 people at once, and I'm like, I had to kind of like come out of my shell, and that's what I love about the restaurant industry so much, is like it kind of brings that out of people.
It's like sink or swim.
Yeah, and so I kind of learned how to talk to people there, and like it really ignited my interest for wine and cocktails, and so from there I was just like learning constantly, you know.
Oh, that's
I was
awesome.
just trying new stuff, and then so I started messing with cocktails a little bit, and I was like, well, you know, I'm not necessarily doing the food thing right now, you know. I could like maybe pursue that if I wanted to. I'm still going to college for graphic design at the time.
And were you at Washburn?
Yeah, I was at Washburn.
Sweet.
Yep. And so I just started working on cocktails, and I was like really enjoying that. Like it just kind of struck a chord with me the same way food did. And so I just started working on the cocktail program there. My buddy Blake, who's my partner now, came on, and like we were working together. We've been best friends since we were kids. And
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we met each other probably in middle school. Middle school. So
I gotta say, I like the way you've wordsmithed it, because saying I started working on cocktails sounds a lot better than I was experimenting with alcohol.
Right.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I almost started this whole interview with like, "So how long have you been an alcoholic?"
No, yeah. I mean, I honestly, I've been lucky enough in this industry to not have that problem. I know a lot of people probably do have that problem, but I've been very like moderate about.
Isn't that like the number one? That's like the number one. Like, don't get high on your own supply.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
Like, if you're gonna be an alcoholic, maybe don't start like a bar.
Yeah.
You know, or a cocktail lounge.
Drink all your profits
You know, it's
away.
like sometimes it brings it out of people too. It's
That's
like,
true.
You're not that kind of person, but then like the stress of owning a business is like, oh shit.
Yeah. Coping
Now I've
with
got to
that.
start drinking. But you know.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Not to
anyways,
downplay
no.
alcoholism in any way.
But so yeah, we were really just like enjoying like learning, and we had no clue what we were doing at all. Obviously, I mean, we just started out and like we didn't have anybody to teach us like, hey, this is right, this is wrong in cocktails. But it was like, again, like the YouTube thing and books were like, we were just tapping into all that. So like we found these guys on YouTube that or specifically one, the Educated Barfly, I guess I'll cite him. He has like these really like straightforward cocktail videos that are like classic cocktails, and so
cool.
we were watching him and learning a lot, and then picking up books along the way, and we kind of just learned how to do it that way, and you know, didn't have any mentors or anything like that, and it turned into something. And
wow.
So, yeah, I mean,
so was your buddy working at White Linen also?
No. So
you guys
now or no?
No, like at the time when you were first getting into it.
Yeah. He joined me at the White Linen.
Wow.
And,
so you guys were like doing this at work, but also figuring this out together on the side
at home. Yeah, because we were living together in the house with you know, 5 dudes total of us, and
that's
like
awesome.
messing with cocktails. We ended up
messing with cocktails.
Like, you know, it's just like when there's 5 dudes in a house on like a Monday night. And
Yeah,
like
totally.
Everyone's done with class, and like you're just like making cocktails.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so we ended up moving in together in his mom's old place, and so we kind of like, you know, were really just focusing on that. He wasn't going to school at the time. I was still kind of finishing up, and then our other partner now, Dan, kind of came along, and he also had experience in fine dining. He had experience at the Wheelbarrel, so he was running the cocktail program there. Left the Wheelbarrel and came to the White Linen, like thinking he told us he was thinking like, oh man, I'm just gonna have to come in and like fix this cocktail program, because I think he didn't know anybody was doing anything with it. He came in, he was like, oh shit, I guess someone's doing something pretty decent. You know, he saw our cocktails, and so from there we kind of just, you know, it was like 3 dudes. You know, I mean, I always think like 3 is perfect, because we all, you know, we all might have our disagreements, but it's always going to be like 2 is going to trump 1 person.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
There can never
one-on-one.
There can never be a stalemate.
Yeah.
So that's how like we kind of moved forward from there. Came up with all our cocktails. I ended up leaving the White Linen at some point. I just wanted to, you know, pursue other things. I hadn't really worked in fine dining anywhere else. I was there for 3 years and had a blast.
That's cool.
Yeah. Running the cocktail program. Dan and Blake ended up opening up the Knox Lounge, so they kind of helped that get going. And then I did some time at the Cyrus Hotel, and you know, doing consultation for the T-Box, and
because I think I was at the T-Box when you were working there.
Yeah.
One time. That's cool.
Yeah. So and like I really enjoyed that, because it's like I don't want to just do like really highbrow stuff and charge like $15 to $18 for a cocktail. I can also like make a cocktail that costs $9 and is equally as delicious, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think I saw you at the T-Box, and then literally the next day I saw you here at the Circle.
Yeah.
And I was like, where is this guy not? So like, this guy's everywhere.
There was a stretch of time, and David will tell you about this, because I was like an absolute zombie, where I would come in and open the cafe here at 6 or 7 in the morning, work till 3, go to the T-Box, work till midnight, get back up, work.
Oh my gosh!
Just do that like 3 or 4 days in a row.
And then just sleep for 48 hours, like
and
the next.
And my girlfriend was like, "You can't keep doing
this."
Yeah.
It's like a fireman shift, except for not. Like,
except no breaks.
Yeah.
And so
that's crazy.
I mean, it was a great learning period in my life, because I learned how important sleep was.
That's a valuable lesson. Everyone learns that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they die.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and then after that, you know, like I kind of stepped away from the tee box and kind of took a minute and, was still helping David out here with the draft stuff. So we have some lattes and like other beverages on draft.
Like
and
the nitro stuff?
The nitro stuff,
Cool.
yeah, everything and all the kegs I kind of help out with syrups around here. And it was just like I always joke to David, I was like, like we're just going to open a cocktail bar here at night. And then that kind of ended up happening in some way because he was like, well, like, what if you started popping up here? First I came to him and I was like, hey, what if we started doing pop-ups here on Sundays? And he was like, well, why not Saturdays? So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do Saturdays.
It's even better.
I didn't even think like he would be cool with doing. I don't know.
So
why.
you're trying to think of like the most convenient,
way to like not step on his toes,
sure,
and like and not get in the way of the cafe at all. And
he's like, that's a terrible idea. Saturdays is way better.
Yeah, you want the people
Like,
leaving church to come in for the cocktails, or what's your plan?
So
right before they go to work.
Right.
and so like me and Blake and Dan, like they were still at the Knox at the time, and we were getting together, like they would get off work at like 1:00 a.m. and I would like, be up and around at 1 a.m. and like we would meet up at my place and like we'd start working on our business plan.
Cool.
So we were working on a business plan for, the actual brick and mortar, but also like once like the pop-up thing became more real, we started working on, just like what that looked like. So what it looked like popping up here, where like we were doing a lot of our prep work because I think most people don't understand that cocktails the cocktails we do are like really heavy on prep. It's like almost like a kitchen in some aspects, like a food kitchen.
Like making sure all the ingredients are ready before you open, or you mean like the prep for each drink specifically?
Well, both. So prepping syrups, and we also prep garnishes, making sure we have all the ice and glassware that we need ready to go, and then batching cocktails. So it's like the process of getting all of the alcohol together, at least all the alcohol components in one in one container, so that we can serve the cocktails quicker and not have to touch, because some of our cocktails have like 8 to 10 ingredients in them. So we don't have to touch touch every bottle before we serve the cocktail.
Yeah.
Everything is kind of homogenized in one batch, and
cool.
we can only touch a couple. It makes it quicker to serve. So
how soon in advance are you preparing? Like, does it have to be that day?
I mean, in some cases, with like some of the fresher ingredients, but
like garnishes, like fruit and stuff.
But like alcohol, it's like it doesn't go bad. So we batch those ahead of time. But I mean, with Soliloquy right now, the way we do it is like everything's really on the fly. Most cocktail bars will have, the difference being is that they're open 4 to 5 days a week. So they have a lot of time to prep, and then they also know it's going to be on their menu for the next 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
If they're rotating seasonally. And we're more or less, we're popping up 1 or 2 days a week, and we have to, we're just changing as we go. Like we're changing cocktails, like what.
So experimenting,
Yeah. So just like what inspires us at the time, or like what's seasonally available, like produce wise, is like a great way to like kind of give us a starting point for a cocktail.
So I'm a complete novice in the cocktail world.
Oh, yeah.
So what is like the line where it goes from like mixed drink to cocktail?
Oh yeah.
Like where does that transition take place?
Like from rum and coke.
Yeah. Like how many ingredients does
I mean,
it have to have before it's considered a cocktail, or is it the glass it's served in?
I think technically some people would say 3. I really don't like hold a definition to it. I guess I would consider a rum and coca cocktail.
Basically, like any mixed drink you could call a cocktail.
Yeah, sure. Because we will serve a rum and coke to somebody if they want it. Like I think the impression that some people might get, especially like looking at our photos or seeing the things we do, is like, oh, I could never go there and like get something off the menu, like just like a rum and coke, and like we will happily serve that to you because we're here to take care of you. We're not here to be like, oh no, you're gonna experience what we want you to experience.
Sure.
we want you to have a good time. So
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking. The word experience is really relevant to the way you guys do things. I came to Soliloquy once when it popped up here at Circle,
Cool.
and I mean I'm a Coors Light and whiskey and Coke guy, so
Yeah.
this was a whole new world of alcohol open to me. Like
Peasant.
the whole setting, I was like, this is so bougie, and my wife was like in heaven, like this was her element. And so, but like each drink we each ordered 2 different drinks, and they were not only 4 separate drinks, they were 4 separate experiences.
Yeah.
The way they were served, the way they're presented, like you had to mix when they got there. It was
Right.
like,
Oh,
it
for
was,
real? You could like.
yeah, we like to put some of those interactive touches on
that's cool.
cocktails. I
It
mean,
was
that's,
just a
that's
whole different
awesome.
way to consume alcohol that I had never experienced. So I thought it was cool. It wasn't just,
Thank you.
oh, this has a different flavor. It was like, this is a whole
Different
the
experience,
whole
yeah.
element,
That's
everything
cool.
from coming in.
yeah,
was
I
different.
mean, we try and definitely focus on that, especially from cocktail to cocktail on a menu. If we're only doing 12 cocktails, we want each one to be like very distinct and like not like you're getting the same cocktail again, just in like a different package. You
Yeah,
know? So
yeah.
we try and keep like the glassware really separated. So
Specific
you
to
know,
the-
so
wow.
it's like, we don't want anybody to like order, or like a group of 4 to order drinks at a table and like everybody gets something different. It's like, well, like this is like pretty much the same thing as that, or like it looks
Right.
exactly
Yeah,
the same. Like,
yeah.
we want them to be very distinct, and like that gives the opportunity for people to really kind of explore the menu and like feel like they're getting something different every time. So
Well, it was educational for me too, because there were words, some of the ingredients I'd never heard of.
Yeah.
So I got to learn new words as well. It
Yeah,
was
for
just-
sure.
it was
We
a
like
whole
to
ball
tiptoe
game.
around that just because, that can scare people. And, like, we recognize that, like, we don't want to intimidate people when they see, like, an ingredient on a menu, So we're very precious about the wording of cocktails, which
Yeah.
I don't think people realize or cocktail bars pay enough attention to. Is like, there's some of our cocktails where we could list literally 20 ingredients
Oh wow.
on the menu if we wanted to, but we don't want to bog people down like
Try to
that.
keep
Like,
it simple.
Let's boil it down to like the things that are gonna attract people.
Yeah.
And give them a good idea of what the cocktail is gonna be like, and not scare them.
Yeah. So, what would you say if someone came in and ordered a Coors Light?
I would say, sorry, we don't have Coors Light.
Skinny's is right up the road, man.
I would say, sorry, we don't have a Coors Light, but we do have a better option, which is the Montucky Cold Snack. I don't know if you guys have had the Montucky.
I haven't. No.
Not
The
even heard
official,
of that.
unofficial beer of Montana. So
Oh, okay, for real, dude.
it's a good light crispy pilsner that we just started
That's awesome.
bringing. So it's like,
So you guys have some like beer options as well.
we're starting to
Yeah,
do that
cool.
now, just because we recognize that not everybody in this market like wants to just have like 2 heavy hitter cocktails and then like go home, so, and more often than not, like the boyfriend gets dragged along, and sidetrack here for a second. We looked at our analytics, and like 80% of our like customer base is female.
Nice. It's because you're hitting the gym too often, bro.
Anyway,
Would you like this cocktail or this?
Curls for the girls, am I right?
That's right. So we realized that there oftentimes like the boyfriend is being dragged along, and or like there's someone in the group that just wants like a beer, and so we want to give them an option and not have them just have to like the boyfriend just sit there. Let's go somewhere else.
I feel like that's the equivalent of we both have young kids, and you go to a lot of like little kids' birthday parties, and all the parents are just like standing around, like there's nothing for
When
me
is
here.
this over?
Yeah, when is it like I'm glad my kid's having fun, but there's nothing. We know we have a few friends who like they always make sure there's something like there's alcohol for the adults, or there's like some activity like for the adults, and it's like, all right, this is
Yard
not just a
games,
kids
yeah.
party, you know?
No, 100%. And we think that if we provide, there's good ways of saying no. Like hospitality is not just like saying yes. Like
The
some people-
customer is
yeah.
not always right.
Right.
You're not
Exactly.
driving to get them a Coors Light if they ask
Right.
you. Yeah.
So there's a really good quote. It's like like you said, the customer is always right. But within the realm of what you're offering is what someone I look up to, Jill Coxon. She owns Swordfish Tom's. She says, you have to offer what's within the realm of your business. You can't just say yes to everything.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go to a fine dining place and like, order, like baby back ribs or something like
Sure,
or a
yeah,
cheeseburger or something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, where's the chicken nuggets?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And they're not going to fulfill that request for you. It's the same thing, but we also want to give you something, within the realm of what you're asking for, so if someone wants a Coors Light, it's like, sorry, we don't have Coors Light, but we do have like a crispy lager that we think you would enjoy that we also believe is like really quality.
Well, I think it's like, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, because that way you can continue marketing to the people you need to market to,
right,
but also be able to serve the people who are adjacent to those people and inevitably going to come along.
100%.
But you're not targeting those people, but those are people that are going to end up here.
Yeah.
And it's also like, it's a cultivated experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are curating people's experience. You're saying, hey, this is my taste. I think that you will enjoy what I have to offer.
Exactly.
This is my perspective on what is good and what,
Yeah.
my creativity. This is what I'm offering.
Yeah.
Like people don't have to take that,
Right.
they don't have to force you to do something else.
Right.
It's like, hey, I'm curating this experience. And I think people like that because you're so passionate about it.
Thank you.
You are skilled, and it sounds like your partners have a similar passion, similar creativity, similar mind for it. And so 100%. It's like, I don't know anything. Like, like Ryan, I know very basic things about cocktails. And so I want to come and like, you tell me what is good and I will try. It's like, I'm not going to force my idiocy or my lack of understanding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No, and we like to, we really enjoy it when people are like that. Just like, show me the way, because then that's when things get really fun.
Yeah.
I actually had a client meeting yesterday, and the guy said, he started to say, this is what I want. And then he said, actually, I'm going to stop because my wife told me, don't tell creative people what you want because they will do it, and it might be worse than what they would have done if you just given them free reign.
Exactly.
And I think that is
it really is
especially
so
true
in
in your
true.
industry too. Like,
it's so
don't
true.
limit your experience by what you want. If someone's really good at what they do, allow them to do that.
I know, that's so true. Yeah, dude. So where did the idea to pop up come from, rather than just go right to like a brick and mortar?
Yeah, the need for money, I guess. I mean, we really did. Earlier on, I think we were kind of talking about like, I think we can find an investor. Like, we're all well connected within the community and. From our previous jobs, like we know some people that have money. Maybe they don't align with our vision, but like ultimately we decided like we want to do it ourselves, and we wouldn't really. I can't imagine opening a cocktail bar without doing Soliloquy as a pop-up now, because we've gotten like such a better picture of what it's going to look like when we have a cocktail bar. Like we would have to have gone through, all the learning and like the growing pains of what we've been through in the last 6 months with a brick and mortar and like rent and all this other crazy. We pay rent now still, but obviously not as much as a brick and mortar would be. So, that it has given us like a clearer picture of what we want to do.
So good.
And so I'm super thankful that we decided to do that and like go that direction, and that David was open to it, because like without that, like I don't know where we'd be right now.
So is part of that's like experimenting to figure out what would we launch with, like when we go big?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, just it's more about like learning the market and learning what people want, and what works and what doesn't work, and it will be different when we open our bar.
Sure, yeah.
Like Soliloquy as it exists right now, I would like to think is like 10% of like what we actually want to be and do. We have to work within the limitations of the space, and like, everything that David has here is like built for a cafe, which is amazing. But it's only like, it's limiting in some ways. So, obviously having a brick and mortar where we have designed the bar how we want. Having a space that is like completely designed for a bar, and the time to actually like think of concepts, what we want to do service wise, is going to be huge for us. So we're working on that in the background now. It's just like what is that going to look like when we actually have brick and mortar.
Have you ever thought about doing like the way Circle started with the coffee cart? Like, could you be a soliloquy cart at a wedding? Like,
well, that's kind of. I was thinking it's like kind of what you're doing, with a pop up.
It is in some ways what we're doing because we have done those catering events. Like, it's not necessarily like I would say what we enjoy doing.
Right.
It's like
you want to be in your own space that you're comfortable
for
with.
sure.
And
I mean, this is like the best case scenario popping up at Circle because we can like tailor the service. It's table service. We get to go and greet people and like hold their hand as much as we can and give them the experience that we want to give them, whereas opposed to like doing those things like banquets or weddings is like more like, okay,
you come and literally hold their hands.
Yeah,
they're like, is this part of it? Is this part of the experience?
Which cocktail is this?
In addition to the have you seen Parks and Rec?
Yes.
Parks and Rec.
I've watched a little bit of it.
Oh, dude, you probably remember better than I.
The experimentative bar with
the deconstructed
alternative ways to experience alcohol. So there's like a
okay.
shot of vodka that's a flash of light. There's like a whiskey hand lotion.
Oh,
you just
shit.
rub it.
There's one that's like it's like a smoke or something.
Oh yeah. You like
He, like,
smoke
cracks
in an
this glass.
apple and just inhale the smoke.
But it's like has like the alcohol content of a drink.
Right.
Man.
Yeah, I actually appreciate that because like we like to kind of we did a Valentine's Day event with Chef Ruth here, so we paired cocktails and desserts, and so we had 40 tickets total. We did 2 rounds of seating, and we didn't tell anybody what they were having that night. So like we didn't tell them, what we were serving them.
You just gave them what you wanted to give them.
So we had a set menu between all of us working the event. So we had a 5-course tasting menu. It was kind of like we said, it was blurring the lines between cocktails and desserts. So we didn't tell anybody about what they were having. Everybody was like, they showed up. We started them out with a pour of rosé, and the first course is a cocktail, but it's served in an oyster shell, and we have a spherified. So the actual cocktail part is spherified. So we take it. Have you ever had like popping boba?
Yes.
It's like a bubble tea, or it like pops in your mouth. So it's like imagine that.
2-year-old is obsessed with it.
Right.
So,
so it's really weird textural experience, but it's like it kind of mimics an oyster. So we made a cocktail that was like one big boba that sat in the oyster shell, and then you can pull a picture. I don't know if you can pull a picture of it on the podcast or whatever.
Sure.
It's on our Instagram, and it had a couple other components, but like we set that out as like the first course for people. No one knew what they were having, and they were just like.
Did you tell them how to do it at that point, or was it like
we
you just put it down in front of them and walk away?
We had to direct everybody, because some people were just like audibly like, okay. Like, I thought I signed up for cocktails and desserts, not seafood, But it was just like our kind of way of being like, you're going to be sticking with us for the rest of the night, and like we're going to take you through an experience.
Yeah.
And so
ripping the Band-Aid off with that one,
right,
for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, kind of similar to what you brought up with Parks and Rec, but it was like, like just a really different way to experience a cocktail that's really fun. I don't think anybody in this market like could even conceive of that like being a thing.
No.
And so I think most people were confused by it. Like it was probably 50-50 of like people that enjoyed it and were just like, just did not understand what was going on.
Yeah. What's happening in my mouth?
Yeah. I imagine like your average person in Topeka is like, what the, like,
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, it was great because like now people like, or at least 40 people know that was a thing. And,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Dude, so where are you from? Are you from Topeka?
Yeah. I grew up here in Topeka, kind of on the south side of Topeka. And then my family moved to Barretton when I was in high school, which is like just outside of Topeka. So,
right.
And my partner Blake, he grew up in Overbrook, Kansas, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So we would always we grew up playing on his farm and stuff like that.
Wow. So you guys met like in school or?
Yeah, middle school. Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome.
And then our other partner Dan, he's actually a Junction City guy.
Nice.
So yeah,
JC baby.
He started out in JC and then moved to Topeka later on.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool.
So yeah, we love Topeka, and like we just see this potential in it that's just like I think not a lot of other people see.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got this like I always think of it as like this like small town kind of charm a little bit, but like the big city potential.
Yeah,
so, like,
that's so good. Yeah.
So you could say that you view Topeka as a giant boba full of a cocktail and an oyster
right,
shell.
just ready to
The
pop.
potential's just right there.
Wow. There
But
you go.
nobody's thought of it before.
Dude, so how did you? We were talking with David about this last week because he
Yeah.
grew up here as well.
Yeah.
Our experience has been a majority of the people we know who don't like Topeka are people who grew up here. And a majority of people who really love Topeka and see a lot of potential are people who moved here later in life.
Yeah, that's
like
weird.
maybe like young professionals move here for a job.
Yeah.
And, you know, all they see is the potential. They're like, this is great. So how did you, you know, kind of, was that just kind of a natural thing to see like, hey, man, there's a lot of potential here?
I don't know. I didn't really fit, like, kind of like you said, like, definitely in high school, the sentiment was like, oh, we got to get out of here. You know, like, as soon as, like, I'm out of college, like, we're going to go. And that was, like, the sentiment of a lot of my classmates. And, like, I didn't really resonate with that. I didn't really think about it. I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, I guess, you know.
Sure,
so,
yeah.
But I didn't really have, like, the idea to like go move somewhere else. I guess I'm not sure why that
Or like
was.
hard feelings toward the city.
No,
or something
not
like
really.
That, yeah.
You know, and so I would take trips to Kansas City, and like I liked Kansas City a lot, but I was like, I don't think I really want to move out of Topeka. Yeah, so just like coming into it later on in life, like now that I've been to like a lot of the major cities, or I haven't been to a lot, but I've been to some, you know, Chicago. I love Chicago. Like,
Sure.
Me and my girlfriend went for the first time a year and a half ago, and it was just like, it blew my mind, but I was like,
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I don't want to leave Topeka. Like this this makes me want to stay in Topeka more.
Really? What
like,
about it?
Because it like, I guess it showed me the opportunity that is waiting in Topeka for people that want to start a business, you know? So like I see all these great restaurants and bars, and I'm like, we could do that in Topeka. Topeka needs that. Topeka needs that. You know, like all these amazing concepts that like I could just imagine being here one day. So,
Dude, I'm the same way when I'm in Kansas City or some other place. Like, dude, like there's no one doing this in Topeka. Like this would be amazing. Like chicken and pickle. Or
I've been
like
crying
that.
for chicken and pickle for years.
Like
Okay.
the pickleball restaurant bar, like that would be sick. Like there's no one doing anything like that here. You know, so what advice would you give? Like, you know, a young person is maybe stuck in the past, just like, man, Topeka sucks. I want to get out of here.
yeah,
What?
get your head out of the gutter. No,
Hey, no, that's great advice.
No, no, but seriously, just I would say believe in your hometown if you're from here. You know, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're saying like Topeka sucks and you're not doing anything about it, then it's kind of your fault. So
Dang,
Yeah.
that's a good soundbite right
Clip
there.
that, baby.
That's a good soundbite. That's awesome.
It's
Man.
gonna be my new ringtone.
Yeah. If you're not doing anything about it, you're part of the problem. That's awesome,
Yeah,
man.
so.
Well, dude, we appreciate your time, man.
for sure.
We know, we know you got a lot going on, and you know all the different things you're involved in. We got a few kind of rapid fire questions for you.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so let's kind of exclude the places you've been involved with professionally, you know,
Okay.
work-wise.
Yeah, for sure.
And think,
Obviously, you would be loyal to those
right,
places.
right.
For
So
sure.
that's what I'm not saying those places are bad. I'm just
Right.
saying we're removing the loyalty card.
Yeah.
Where's your favorite place to grab a meal in Topeka?
I gotta say, Jong's Thai Kitchen. Yeah.
Do you and David hang out a lot?
Oh, obviously.
David, are you paying him?
Yeah, we love Jong's. It's like they cook with heart and fresh ingredients, and like that just resonates with
I
us.
think you word for word said what David just said.
I'll be honest.
I'm just kidding.
I'll be honest. I haven't been to Jong's yet because I'm so like I've never had a bad experience at Tup Tim Thai, and I'm so scared if I branch out that I will not. I'm like I could have been at Tup Tim Thai tonight,
no.
you know, but I
Yeah,
know I
yeah,
need
yeah.
to do it.
I think it's two different things, but you know, I think Jong's is like a little settings, a little bit more intimate. You know, the owners are obviously just fantastic people, and they cook amazing food.
That's awesome. I have been there, but we've always had to do takeout because they're always full.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
the
they're
problem.
super
Yeah.
popular. That's awesome. How did you guys land on the name Soliloquy?
Oh yeah, that's a tough one. So we actually, we ran over a couple names, like, and like originally we were gonna call ourselves Palaver was the name of our concept, like, and this was when we were working together and we were like concepting what a bar would look like. We were like, oh yeah, we're gonna call it Palaver. Palaver means like, so Palaver is just like talking without any direction, or like in goal. So you're just like palavering about. Yeah,
it's a verb.
That's a cool word.
Yeah, it's a verb. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it was like that was cool. And we had a couple other ideas.
Were you just like on a thesaurus site, just like
probably?
next.
We like
If you'd have waited a year, you could have had ChatGPT name your bar.
Yeah, exactly.
We spend way too much time on Wikipedia just like looking up like cocktail names or like concepts for cocktail, or like we have an ingredient. We're like, you know, going to the Wikipedia page and like figuring out like what are some things that we can like tie the name to or the ingredients to. But yeah, so we had a couple other different names, and like I think it was just like we're just like, okay, I was like, I have an idea, and like that's just what we're gonna go with, and the other two guys were like, cool, let's just call it Soliloquy, you know.
I mean, it's similar, right? Like soliloquy is like a
similar, kind of similar, you know. Yeah, and there's you can look into it a lot if you want, and there's like kind of some Shakespearean ties to the name, and I think what we envision with Soliloquy is like this very theatrical and like dramatic presentation, which is kind of like what we imagine for a brick and mortar. And so we thought it fit really well with the cocktails that we're wanting to do.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
the approach to service and the atmosphere that we're imagining. So
it's awesome.
Yeah, I think in the like you said, within the limitations you've had to this point, you've nailed that. From my one experience, like those are verbs that I would use, you know, to kind of explain that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys gonna start having like improv nights as well?
We had someone approach us about doing stand-up comedy. Yeah, it might be interesting. Honestly, we'd love to get into more live music. I think we did it here. David did it at Circle one night, which was really amazing. But yeah, we definitely maybe want to like be that spot downtown where like live musicians can go, because
that's really cool.
You know, I don't think Topeka has like that scene, and to be able to foster that would be really cool. So.
I think there's something to the improv night. Really amazing cocktails, really bad acting.
You're right.
Yes.
The more cocktails you have, the better the acting gets.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, man. Well, dude, we appreciate your time, man.
For sure.
Man, any other...
No, I guess just if people are looking to find you or to find Soliloquy, where can they find you online? Or when are you here in person?
We're here on Saturday nights right now, potentially talking about doing Friday nights as well at some point in the future, Friday and Saturday nights. So at Circle Coffee, 6 to midnight. And Instagram handle is Aaron J. Zentner. You can get my email, aaron@gestaltllc.net. Gestalt is the name of our parent company.
Nice.
So awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. And then where's Soliloquy on?
Oh,
and how do you
on
spell
Instagram,
that?
Soliloquy, SOLILQUY .bar is the Instagram
Gotcha.
handle.
Love it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Thanks so much for meeting with us, and
thank you
and
guys.
thanks for investing in the future of Topeka.
For sure, dude.
Yeah, man. Love having people like you in the city.
Yeah.
Really, it makes living here so much better, because we're the same way. We love the city of Topeka.
Yeah.
We see nothing but potential. Well, not nothing. I mean, there's a lot. There's a
acknowledge
lot going
the
on.
reality,
But there is a lot of potential, and it doesn't seem like a lot of people see that. And so it's amazing. You know, you look around. It's not hard to find the people. If you're like that, it's not hard to find the other people that are like that as well. You know, you and David and a bunch of other people that we've gotten to meet and talk with. And it's just incredible. You guys are making the city better.
Thank you,
and, man, I wish you guys nothing but success. So,
Thank you.
Awesome.
yeah. Aaron Zentner, everybody.
Thanks
Thank
so
you,
much.
guys.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Look Around podcast.
Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And follow us on Instagram at the Look Around podcast, where followers can submit questions for future interviews.
If you'd like to connect with us further, you can send us an email at thelookaroundpodcast@gmail.com.